Welcome to my third installment of my brand new series, Let's Talk About Trash, where I trash talk trash albums and singles. My name is Zero, and in today's episode, I'm going to be giving my rant slash review about the newest album by Maryland rapper Logic called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. This album was released in 2019 and is the follow up to his highest charting 2018 release, Young Sinatra 4, which is an album that I generally enjoyed for the most part. I mean, it was a bit preachy and corny at times, but overall, it was decent. It had some good tracks. However, this new album, it is a huge step down in many different ways, and I'm going to talk about why right now. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind was released around the time a lot of rappers were going further and further into the mainstream field of hip hop, and I wish I didn't ever have to say the same about Logic, but it's unfortunate that I have to, and it's even more unfortunate that I have to write this review. One of the biggest problems with this album is the fact that it lacks a horrible amount of substance that was incredibly present in Logic's older albums, for example, The Incredible True Story, which is still my favorite Logic album, and its predecessor, Under Pressure, which is an album that I also really like. With releases like those albums, they had a really good story behind them, along with meaningful lyrics that are backed up by creative and unique beats that only Logic can trademark. However, with Confessions, it completely strays away from the storytelling aspects of Logic's older work, and it almost feels like he just dove into the mainstream dumpster, picked whatever he could find, and threw it into his work. Basically just recycling it into his work. A lot of the lyrics on this album are recycled from Logic's previous work as well, just done much worse, of course, and are backed up by beats that are either far too reminiscent of something off of YSIV and essentially feel like he ripped off his own music, or they sound like beats that were taken off of every single mumble rap track, and Logic just edited them to make them his own. With stuff like that, it almost feels like an album from an entirely different artist, and that is not meant as a compliment in the slightest. Another thing that I noticed right off the bat with this album is the fact that it has a hard time figuring out exactly what style it wants to be. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with an artist trying new sounds, unless they're sounds that have just been used over and over and over again by countless other artists. What I mean is that we're given fast-paced actual rap songs like Mama Show Love featuring YBN Cordae, who ultimately just saves the song by the way, and Homicide featuring Eminem, but honestly, even with one of the better tracks like Homicide, it almost feels like Logic is trying too hard to out-rap Eminem and do better than him for some reason. And then as far as the non-rap tracks, we're given far too mainstream and predictable tracks like the track Bobby, which is entirely too cheesy and braggadocious for my liking, and not to mention, who's biracial only in his penis? Really? That has to be one of the worst Logic lyrics I have ever heard in my entire time I've been listening to Logic. Being braggadocious is something that's widely known in the mainstream rap scene of today, and the fact that now Logic is doing it just pushes it over the line and ruins it even more. But the most unlistenable piece of garbage on this album is Don't Be Afraid to Be Different, featuring the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air himself. I don't know what it is about this song that makes me hate it so much. It could be the fact that the intro sounds way too much like the Fresh Prince theme song. The fact that the negatively toxic hook is repeated way too much throughout the whole song to the point where it's just an annoying infectious earworm. Or, just the fact that the song is trash. It's awful. It's garbage. Even though this album is mostly a fish out of water, cause that shit be floppin', it has some solid tracks. Like I was saying before, Homicide and Mama Show Love aren't bad at all, especially with the two features we're given. I also really enjoy Keanu Reeves. It's a nice hype song that doesn't become too braggadocious or corny, despite its mainstreamness, and it almost feels like a Logic song, even though it doesn't sound like anything Logic has really ever done. It still feels like a Logic song. It doesn't get too braggadocious, and it doesn't get too corny and too hypey, to the point where it's just ruined. However, all the other songs are just okay. They aren't really anything special or something you'd want to listen to twice, and it's sad because Logic was always the opposite of that for me. I always wanted to listen to all of Logic's songs and albums that I like twice, even more than twice actually. But this album I can't even listen to once. At least not the entire way through. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is an album that should not exist, at least not if it's made by Logic. It's such a step down from all of Logic's actual good work, and it's definitely Logic's worst and most disappointing album to date. Yes, that beats out Supermarket. Anyways, I'm giving Confessions of a Dangerous Mind a 3 out of 10, and I really hope that this album would be better, especially from Logic, and I really hope that No Pressure, his upcoming album, lives up to the hype, even though it's probably going to, because I've heard snippets from it, and they sound absolutely amazing. Anyways, guys, that's my quick little rant review of Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic. Let me know what you guys thought of the album, and if you want me to review any albums, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them. Until the next review, my name is Zero. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next one.